Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, as you can see, I am joined once again by Hanno from the Coach's Corner. Of course, you might have seen him on the channel if you watched the Chelsea preview we did a little bit earlier in the season. He's back again to talk about Chelsea. And of course, this time it is for the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. This is going to be an interesting game. Of course, Newcastle making it to the final of the Carabao Cup last season. And now we have a chance of possibly doing that again if we can get past Chelsea on Tuesday night, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff down in the capital against Pochettino's men. And of course, they've just gotten themselves a little bit of a boost at the weekend there with a 2-0 win against Sheffield United. And we've just got ourselves a bit of a boost as well after a very bad 3 games in a row against Everton, Tottenham, and AC Milan, which unfortunately seen us go out of the Champions League and out of Europe altogether. But of course, the game of the weekend seen us pick up a 3-0 win against a Fulham side, of course, which looked very lackluster. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, do go check out the match reaction to that up on the channel. But before we get into this preview, I'd like, of course, Hanno to introduce himself to you guys who haven't seen him on the channel before. So go ahead, Hanno.
Yeah, of course, Chelsea fan and YouTube is Coach's Corner. Um, yeah, nothing really else South African, as you can see, with the flag behind me. And it will be exactly 1 month later. Also, you thumped us 4-1 at St James's Park, um, which was probably our worst performance of the season. And I'm still not confident, but we'll get into everything surrounding this game.
Yeah, exactly. It was a 4-1 win, wasn't it, at St James's Park? I mean, both of us thought that was going to be a pretty tight game. It ended up being a very one-sided game in Newcastle's favour, which I wasn't really expecting, to be honest, with, the way we were going into that game. And, of course, the amount of injuries that we had as well going into that game. We've still got quite a few injuries now as well. So, it's one of them things we're just having to roll with the punches. I've seen Chelsea's got a couple of players out injured as well. Just doing a bit of research before we did this video, of course. But what's your thoughts, on the game at the weekend? Your game, our game at the weekend. What were your thoughts on that?
Um, our game, it was pretty much boring the first half. Then second half, first 10, 15 minutes, we get 2 goals. Um, and after that, we barely tested a goalkeeper for Sheffield. So it was a decent performance, but far from what we have been used to. I think almost ever since the game we had at St James's Park, ever since then it's been downhill from there because we were
Yeah.
all so excited for that game as just fans, thinking we can really get something against you guys. And then we put in our worst performance of the season. Lost to you, beat Brighton, still not good, but still beat them. Lost to United. So yeah, I I almost want to use the analogy that you almost like we were going on a high, and then you all of a sudden just crashed us, and we
Yeah.
went downhill from there. But your game, first off, I think Fulham still had something. In them, but as soon as you scored, it's really over. I did say you would score three, but I didn't think you would keep a clean sheet. I said 3-2 win, but fortunately, thanks to what's his face, Jimenez and his
Jimenez.
stupidity, with a red card there, cost Fulham the game. So yeah, but this leading up to this game, I don't have confidence because I think you still have injuries, but the players that were out 2-3 weeks ago are on their return. They a week or two away from being fully fit.
Yeah.
Like Botman came from the bench. Ben has now played 3 games in a row. Um, who else came back?
Uh, Izzy came back for a bit from the injuries as well.
Yeah. Wilson is back.
Yeah.
Um, so a few of the stars are coming back for you. Um, so yeah, I, I, when we get closer to the game, or actually now, Russell, why aren't you using him? Why are you using Aaron Trippier? Why? I mean,
Uh,
like for me, that's the reason why you went out of the UCL for me. Because if you had
yeah.
Lewis Hall sub, I think you subbed off Trippier, put on then Burn. If you maybe put on Lewis Hall, that second goal doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Uh, like you say, why weren't we using Lewis Hall? Is purely down to the fact that anyhow said that he's just not up to scratch yet to be able to play, the games forward. Looking at what we've seen from him, he scored in the game in the last round of this cup against Man United at Old Trafford. When we put out a C team against them, we won 3-0. So maybe he'll get a game in this one against Chelsea. That would be a thought, maybe to who could go in the starting lineup, of course, for this game. And to be honest, it is what it is really with the Champions League. I mean, I think we all knew that it was going to be, like a bit of a learning curve. First time back in it in 20 years, a chance for it to see what the competition's all about after, not being in it in 20 years. And I think we did rather well, to be honest, considering that we hadn't been in the competition for that long. I mean, to come away from the Champions League, and to have a 0-0 draw at San Siro, get a massive win against PSG at St James's, unfortunately lose to Borussia Dortmund, unfortunately again lose to Borussia Dortmund, then of course to be 1-0 up against PSG, only for then a very late, very controversial penalty decision to be given to PSG and them, pick up a point in the game what they really didn't deserve. To then, be in the last game of the Champions League at St James's Park, where I've got to say, we didn't really put a foot wrong in the game. We played really well in the game, I thought, and the lads were very unlucky to come away from that game on the end of a defeat to AC Milan. We were just really, really good in the game. Unfortunately, the injuries have caught up with we. That is something, that we have been saying quite a bit this season, Hanno, mate. But it's just one of those things where we've had to roll with it. We're now seeing, of course, thanks to that game at the weekend against Fulham, that we're trying to get back to that winning way that we were before the game against Everton, the game against Spurs, and the game against AC Milan. So, the injuries, like you say, they are piling up. I mean, we've got 8 players out injured right now. And it's not like it's youngsters, it's first teamers, the likes of Isak, who's feeling a tight groin at the moment. We've also got the likes of Harvey Barnes, who could be back pretty soon, probably even in this game, maybe, because there was talk that he would have been available for the game at the weekend just gone there. But now they're saying that he could be available for this game, so fingers crossed he is available for this game. Jacob Murphy, of course, still out with the shoulder problem, of course, which he's had surgery on it. So we've got to wait for that to heal up. Same with Nicky Pope as well. He's had surgery on an injured shoulder as well. So we'll have to wait for that to heal up as well. Elliot Anderson's been out for a while now with a back problem. Apparently it was a broken bone or something in his back, which doesn't sound good. Hopefully, the lad will be back pretty soon. Joe Willock came back for a bit. Then, of course, we've seen him ended up going out again. So, hopefully he gets back pretty soon. But other than that, I think we've still got some pretty strong talent there available away to use in this game. I mean, like you just mentioned, Callum Wilson coming back into the side, Dan Burn coming back into the side as well. Sven Botman just at the weekend there come back into the side for the first time in a while. Unfortunately, we did see Fabian Shaw go off with what looks to be a tight hamstring. If that'll affect him playing in this game or the games ahead, who knows? At the moment, there was a little bit of news on the Joe Linton side of things as well, as he was another player that went off in the game against Fulham. In the fact that there was some people saying that Joe Linton could be available for this game against Chelsea. He might have only been taken off as a precautionary thing, just in case he agitated it a little bit more. But at the moment, it seems quite a few of them seem to be hamstring injuries. So I don't know if that's something to do with the medical side of things or not. Eddie Howe has said that they are doing, a look into how the medical team are doing their job. As with a lot of things in our club now, everything's got to be up to par. Everything's got to be at the highest standard possible. So, I can understand where Eddie's coming from on that. That we do need to be looking at how the fitness program is working at the team. But I think mainly it's just down to the fact that, a lot of players are having to play a lot of games because other players are out. We went through a stretch of about 4 to 5 games where, we're seeing the likes of Trippier and that having to play in them games, same 11 having to play for 4 to 5 games. That in itself can't be good for the team going forward. But Lesnar, your thoughts, mate? What's your thoughts on your injuries at the moment going on?
So we also have quite a lengthy list. Of course, Robert Sanchez is injured. I think it's might be almost like Nick Pope sort of injury, but not that serious. Cucurella has a foot and ankle injury. Reece James, of course, again hamstring. Is deciding for the side tomorrow if he's going to have surgery or not. Because it is a very touchy surgery. Because unlike ACL or something like that, hamstring could mean doesn't mean you normal. You play as normal. So yeah, Chalaba is still injured. Again, I don't know really what his injury is. He's been out all season. Ben Chilwell, Connie Chukwuemeka, also Fofana. Also, those are mostly long-term injuries. Leslie
Yeah,
Kochuku. Um, don't know. I think they haven't specified what his injury is, but he is out. Madueke is again an injury, which is well, it isn't actually injury. I think it's more. Say it's an injury, but I don't think it is. I think it's more Poch doesn't like him. Um, Romeo Lavia, of course, we have seen him return to full team training. Um, well, partial team training, so he's getting back his fitness. Malo Gusto was on the bench, and same with Nkunku. We could see Nkunku start this game because there were rumors it's going to be brought on from the bench in our game against Sheffield United. So maybe we see him against you guys, but I don't know. Um,
yeah.
so it's
It
a pretty
sounds
long
like
one.
we're both going in with quite a few injuries again, doesn't it?
So yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a tough one. It's obviously going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Over the time we've played some pretty big games over the years against each other. Try and see if I can get some stats for people watching for this game. Let's see. Chelsea have defeated Newcastle in 78 matches, while they've conceded defeat in 56 games. We've both, of course, drawn 40 times in the times that we have played as well, according to a few of the stats here, what I'm looking at, of course. And, I mean, what's your thoughts, about the whole game? How would you go about this game against, of course, ourselves on Tuesday night?
It's a tough one because we haven't been the best really. We've been pretty poor. But one massive factor is that Jolinton is not there, which I'm really glad about. Because he had almost a masterclass against us earlier in the season. So he's out. I think your defense can be targeted. Of course, Fabian Shaw being out, I don't think you'll rest Botman. Maybe Lewis or Price. I don't know if he is eligible or not. But if he plays, I think Dan Ben will just shift over. I reckon. Unless Trippier plays, of course, then Livramento that side or Trippier on the left. Um, so yeah, that I think your defense can be targeted. So I think that I'm hoping we can somehow just get a midfield battle going because I I need we don't have the most physical players, so we need speed in our midfield, and that's also not something we really have. But
Yeah,
I think if we can use our speed, then we will be able to almost get forward and target that defense of yours. So yeah,
yeah,
um, I think speed is the key when it comes to Newcastle, especially with the amount of games guys like Bruno Guimaraes, um, Trippier, Livramento. As I said, if we can attack them with speed, you know, make them run just a tad bit faster, that can work. So yeah,
yeah. He had a fantastic game at the weekend, Bruno. He had a really good game at the weekend. The way he just went around the pitch, brilliant assist as well for young Lewis Miley to get his first goal for Newcastle as well, which was nice to see. But looking at a few here from what I've seen, a few people are saying that the possible starting lineup, according to Sports Mole, they're saying that the possible starting lineup that they would go with would be Dubravka, Kraft, Lascelles, Botman, Byrne, Miley, Bruno, Longstaff, Ritchie, Wilson, and Almiron. I do believe Trippier will be playing in this game because he was, of course,
so
suspended from that game at the
so
weekend
maybe
against.
Gordon rested then, because he's been like a best forward.
Um, who was that? Sorry,
Gordon,
Gordon.
yeah.
No, I think Gordon will play. I think this is just what Sports Mall are putting out as their possible lineup. I would change that to what they're putting out there. I think instead of Richie, I would probably go Gordon in there with probably Almiron or Bucky if Bucky's playing. Barnes, of course, for anybody that's not a Newcastle fan. On the right back, I would go with Kieran Trippier. Of course, in there, left back, I'd go Tino Livramento instead of Dan Byrne. Botman, I think, is perfectly fine to play in there. Lascelles might have to play if Shaw's injury, what he went off with, that tight hamstring is quite serious. Then, of course, Lascelles would have to play in there unless we'll go with Dan Byrne in there. But I think it would be Lascelles and Botman in the back. For goalkeeper, I'd probably go with Karius for this one instead of Martin Dubravka. Give Karius a go in the cup. He doesn't really get to play much, but when he has played, he has done pretty good for we. Of course, he got played in the final against Manure last season. So, that was a pretty decent game, even though he did concede goals. It wasn't his fault on them goals. I think the midfield that they've went with there, of Miley, Bruno, and Longstaff, I think that is pretty decent. But I think Joe Linton could be in there as well. Just going off of the news, what I've heard, saying that he could be available for this game, then I think he would be in there as well. But, let us know what's your thoughts on your starting lineup, mate, going into this one.
I think Petrovic will start. Of course, our backup keeper. Right back will probably be the Sassy. And then centre backs, I think it will be mainly the four. We had the Sassy, Silva, Barashile, Cole. I would like to see Ian Madsen, but after um, basically stuff Poch has said about Madsen, it doesn't really rate him that much.
Yeah,
So if thinks Madsen is not Chelsea level really, I tend to disagree because we haven't even seen him start a full game. Um, then midfield wise, it was interesting to see, of course, Enzo Fernandez being dropped. And it has come out that Poch didn't really say he was rested or anything like that. So I think maybe it was preference. Uh, I get that because Enzo is not the best defensively,
yeah,
but he's a typical eight. Can do both, but more more attacking. So yeah, and with Caicedo also being not the fastest, with Enzo, that midfield can be slow. So I think you'll use Conor Gallagher again, and I think Cole Palmer will also start. As for the wings, I want to drop Mudryk. Just need to think who else is there that can play
Sterling.
on the right. Sterling, I would start him, but then the thing is you have to start Enzo then, because then Palmer would play on the right.
Yeah,
So, but I think if we can some sort of way out there, um, Mudryk doesn't start because he can do like one good skill. I cannot make a defender and then a pass go towards our own fan base.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what they did against Sheffield. It done a good skill. Then his switch off play almost went into the crowd really. So he can do one good thing, then it doesn't. But we could maybe see him starting because of Trippier. Um, being that tad bit slower, but
yeah,
so Trippier, he's good on his day. So yeah, um, but that's really my lineup. I think if we
yeah.
don't play Mudryk, then you have to play Enzo, and if you don't play Enzo, you have to play Mudryk. But yeah,
Fair enough, mate. It sounds like a pretty decent lineup, to be honest. I think, Naivat say they're going to go with a weekend lineup, obviously, because this is a Premier League tie. Even if it is in the cup, we're not going to go with weekend lineup. So obviously some players will play that on first team as that's kind of obvious because that's what we always get in the cups. We see it with the likes of Liverpool. They usually play youngsters in the cup with a mix of some first teamers or rotation players in there. So it'll probably be something similar to that. I think from Chelsea. I know Eddie does like to play first teamers, but maybe the injury problems that we're having at the moment might be a bit of a thingy on that one. But I think we'll still put out a pretty strong lineup, I've got to say, with the players that we've
no,
got at disposal.
I
Go on.
think we will also play some first teamers because If you look, I think Liverpool are playing Arsenal, right? Or is that
Yeah.
FA Cup?
Um, don't know. I think that might be FA Cup. I'm not sure. I'll check
Yeah,
just to make sure
let me.
on that
Oh,
one.
okay. I got a fixture. Liverpool play West Ham,
Yeah.
um, and Everton play Fulham. So that's already two Premier League sides out. So I think both of us will go strong because a winner could have an easy tie going into the semi-finals and could maybe have an easy final. I just wish if West Ham can do a job, I know that would be the best thing for both of us. But Port Vale, Middlesbrough, one of those teams are going to the semi-final. So yeah, and Everton, Fulham. Please Fulham do something because I don't want to face Everton. That's for sure. But yeah, no.
Well, to, just before we end off the stream, obviously I'll get your score prediction, mate. But just a little bit of a fantasy here. If you had to choose one of the teams that are left in the competition to play in the final, which one would it be?
If I had to choose one of the teams, I would say Fulham or Port Vale.
Fulham or Portfield?
Yeah,
Um, that's not too bad, actually, to be honest.
yeah,
My thoughts are pretty similar to yours, mate. If West Ham can do a job against Liverpool, that'll be big for us both. Either one who gets through, that will be big for that team, of course. If Fulham can do a job against Everton as well, that would be a good one. But I've also got this slight little feeling, of a bit of revenge against Everton for the recent game that we played against them at Goodison Park. But I would love nothing more than to have a chance, like we've seen with the other teams over the years, like Man City, Scotland, some other teams have gotten it as well, where you get to a final, you have an easier side in there, or what would be classed as an easier side without being disrespectful to the teams that are still in the competition. In the likes of Portfield, or a Fulham, somebody like that, in the final, that would be great. Middlesbrough would be great, don't get us wrong, in the final, but I, I have this niggling feeling that they would, hack into the players a bit, and it would cost with
yeah.
some,
Middlesbrough is one of those teams like
yeah,
they can turn up and do something against you. You're not completely confident against them.
yeah,
So yeah, that's a Port Vale away. It's not easy.
yeah. That would be good.
Good
just
one,
a
but
just a
first
chance to get it
we
off the back.
yeah. Uh, Look, Wednesday if we beat you on Tuesday. Oh well, that's also a Tuesday game. So yeah, if I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
we are like 2-0, hopefully. Switch over to that game quickly. See what's going
Whoever
on there.
gets whoever gets through on a Tuesday night, we're both going to be, sitting on Wednesday night, looking at that Liverpool game against West Ham, thinking, "Oh, come on, West Ham! We want West Ham
Yeah,
to win and get Liverpool that
up
competition."
downers.
No matter who's still in the competition, you're going to be thinking that, let's just get
Yeah,
Liverpool out there.
but
Um,
because if Liverpool goes out, whoever
every chance,
both of us, if one of us go through and Liverpool is out, you have to be favourites to win the
definitely.
whole thing. So yeah. Now score predictions.
Yeah, score predictions. I'll let you go
Uh,
first.
I'm not confident. I'll go 2-2 draw, penalties. We go through.
Oh, that's it. I don't know if my heart would be able to tear that one, like going right away through into a penalty shootout. Oh, it will be a tough game. Don't get us wrong. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, we're playing in your backyard at the end of the day on this one. If it was at St James's, I'd have a bit more oomph towards it because we've been fantastic at St James's this season. But on the road, we're having a bit of a struggle. So I think it will be a tough game with that in mind. But I think, we could come out of this with the win and get through to the next round. But I'll go with a very, very close game. I'll see 1-0 Newcastle against Chelsea. Make it through to the next round. Probably a late goal in the game, for a very late goal in the game, I'll say. But I could be wrong. Could be another repeat of the game at St James's Park. Who knows? You know,
this time towards my side.
that would not be good. That would not be good. Not for us anyway.
Yeah. So if I'm giving us 2 goals, which would be very good to see us go 2 goals against a proper opposition, and not Sheffield United. Because to be honest, we're not good attacking at this moment. Like in the past, before we played you last time, I could at least say, okay, we are missing chances. Now we're not even
Yeah,
creating chances, but hopefully we go through. It's a massive game, like Carabao Cup. So remember, Liverpool winning the double against
yeah,
us, and knocking us out of, well, winning a final against us in both tournaments. So a bit of revenge would be good. So yeah, just get a trophy because
yeah. That's all it is,
trophy.
really. It's just getting
It's,
that, getting that monkey off your back sort of
mm,
thing, and getting that
yeah, I
trophy
just
under your
get that
belt.
first trophy under new manager.
Yeah,
Even you guys are still searching for that under Eddie, but top four, I think, really cemented his place there. So yeah,
yeah. That's exactly what it is, mate. Just really trying to get that first trophy, for the first time in a long time. I mean, last time we won a domestic trophy was 1955. Last time we won a trophy for, of course, a major trophy was the Intercities Fairs Cup, which is now what would be the Europa League. That was back in 1969 when we won that. So, it's been a long, long time now. It's a chance, and Eddie deserves it. I mean, the lads deserve it. Last season they were fantastic. They got all the way to the final, only to lose out unfairly, unfortunately, in the game against Man United. I mean, it would be nice to get there again, but we've still got yourselves to get past on Tuesday if we can do that, and then whoever we're getting the semi two-leg as well, two-leg semi. So there's a chance there with the away in the home game to make it through at the final. But may the best team win at the end of the day, Hannah, mates. It's been a pleasure having you come on the channel and, of course, talk about your thoughts ahead of the game against ourselves on Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals, which is crazy to say, quarter-finals. I mean, it's nice to see, Newcastle getting to this stage of the competition once again. And I'm sure, we'll see a lot more of this over the years, under these owners at Newcastle. But may the best team win. Thanks for coming on, mate. I know you've probably got a very busy schedule, as we all have at this time of year. Of course, when it gets to the Christmas period, everybody's really rushed off their feet. Merry Christmas to you, mate, as well, before we end
thank
off
you.
the stream. May you have an absolutely fantastic Christmas. I can't imagine what it must be like having Christmas in South Africa, to be honest. But
Well,
it's
Christmas in
pretty cold
summer
here.
it's good. Yeah, you don't have to wear 10 jackets when you eat. So yeah, it's pretty good. But no, thank you. And yeah, Merry Christmas to you too.
Cheers, mate.
And yeah, it's hopefully the best team wins. But
Do you want to give a shout out to where people can find you for
yeah,
anybody that hasn't watched before?
before I do that, smash a like on this video and subscribe. 2K, let's get
Yes.
to 2K. Yeah, on YouTube, Coach's Corner, Instagram, _Coach_Corner, Twitter, 170830030, and then TikTok, Coach Corner 1. All the links are in one of my videos on the channel, so you guys can just check it there out. There's links there for you guys just to make it easier. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
No worries,
And
mate.
hopefully, revenge will be sweet.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
Cheers,
So
mate.
yeah, cheers.
Cheers for coming on. Thanks. See you all later, guys, for the match reaction on Tuesday.